So, okay, I can do this. So, guess what? Today I booked my flight to New Zealand. It's all done and dusted. And I'm just realizing that I didn't need to make the last 3 months as hard as they were. I think I'm still in a state of shock that all of this was so, and it always is, so much easier than I expected. And all I needed to do was just to allow it to be easy. I didn't have to struggle. I didn't have to make it difficult. It didn't have to take this long, but I was so stubborn. And I think that's what I'm realizing more and more and more, that I am actually somewhat stubborn to some degree, to the point where it leads to an immense amount of suffering, and it's completely unnecessary. I don't know what happened, but something triggered me. I think last night, maybe I was thinking about, okay, everyone's leaving, how much longer do I want to be in Bangkok? Repeating the same cycles, staying in this hostel, feeling a bit wobbly, trekking through the mud, and I was like, I'm just gonna accept my friend's offer. My best friend who just moved to New Zealand, she said that I'm happy to buy your ticket to come and see me, because she was like, come and see me. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And so I've literally just and that was, God, 4 months ago. So in the last 3 months, I've been trying to figure out how to make enough money to get a flight to New Zealand, because I make enough money to get my basic needs met, accommodation, food, little bits of travel in between. But to get a flight from Thailand to New Zealand, that was a little bit of a push. And I was like, I can do this, teaching, I've got that to meet my needs, but I want to really push myself to make money through creative outlets. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to focus on in the next 2-3 months. And I can do this. And I also really, as I mentioned before, I also really wanted to get to New Zealand for my birthday so I can spend it with her. And so in my 2 months of Pi, I was really, really struggling, and it was really, really taking a lot out of me, because I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to figure out what I was doing and in what way I was doing it and how I could make money from it. And I think all that pressure was very overwhelming and exhausting, and it didn't really get me anywhere. And I think just before my birthday, I was like, you know what, I can't make it in time. I'm really sorry. I thought I could have figured this out, but I can't, and it's okay. It's just gonna take me a little bit longer. And she was like, don't worry, Dana, it's completely okay. And I know that, but I think in my head I just made it into something that was a lot bigger. And she was like, yeah, just I'm gonna be there for the next year or so. Come whenever you can. And I'm so happy and willing to pay for your flight as a birthday present. And I was like, wow, this was so much easier. I didn't have to stress and make such a big deal out of it for 2 months. I didn't have to cry about it. I didn't have to just freak out about it. I didn't have to feel that kind of dread. And also, she was willing to do that for me. And I was like, wow, God, you just fucking stressed yourself out for nothing. And I was like, I really appreciate your offer, but I want to do this. I want to commit to doing this by making money through creativity. I want to push myself, and if that changes, I'll let you know, but I think I can do this. So that released a lot of weight that I was carrying on myself, and then I was like, okay, now I can move things around a bit. I don't have to stick myself in pie to figure this out, because it wasn't working. It was like the more I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, the less it was working out. My mind was just shutting down, my body was shutting down, and it makes so much sense. You can't create, you can't feel good, you can't connect with the right people and the right opportunities if you are stressing yourself out. Your mind just shuts down when you get that narrow vision again, and you freak out. And as I say, if you're in that narrow vision, you don't see what's around you, and you are forcing yourself to do something that you think you should, because you are creating those terms and conditions for yourself, and those rules and, you know, regulations. When if you relax, you get these sparks of inspiration, intuition, and you follow it, and it leads you to the right people, to the right places. The right ideas and things will naturally unfold as it should. So once I spoke to her, I felt so much better, and I was like, okay, I don't need to be here. Let's go to Bangkok. Let's get some movement going, and see how I can evolve and on this thing that I want to achieve, you know. And so when I got here, that's why I was like, it's indefinite. I don't know how long I'm in Bangkok for, because until I can make enough money to go to New Zealand through creative outlets, which later on I realized, I was like, why are you setting these rules for yourself? Like, you're like, okay, I have to do it like this and in this specific way by this time. So unnecessary when there are so many other ways that you could do it. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be here indefinitely because I want to figure this out. And so I was feeling a little bit pressured on myself, and a little bit stressed and anxious and fearful, and also, you know, I'm grateful that I came to Bangkok and I was open to being here for some time, because I really did meet some great people. I got a lot of inspiration. I took a lot of action. Things have been changing. I've been feeling more confident and knowing more and more of what I'm doing, and I'm getting lots and lots of deja vu, which for me is a great sign that I'm moving in the right direction. But I kind of realized, I was like, you're restricting yourself, you're limiting yourself, you're making this so much harder than it needs to be, and this is your fault, this is your problem. You feel like this because you've been making yourself feel like this, and it doesn't have to be like this. At any time, you can change this, Dana. You know, yeah. And I realized, you know, when I applied for my visa, the epiphany that I had before that was like, well, right now you believe that you are stuck unless you make X amount of money, which is not true, because right now you can use what you have, and what you have you can apply for and pay for your visa. You can take that action. Things don't have to be perfect, and things don't have to be right to work and for you to move forwards. You can take action with what you have right now. And I was like, oh fuck, like I'm just sitting here limiting myself, making myself feel stuck when I'm not actually stuck. So that was really, really interesting, and I think taking that action is what led me to keep building the momentum, to finding a way, to realizing that there was a way for me already to book my flights and to continue and to move forwards, and that I don't need to be stuck. I don't need to be here if I don't want to. I think that's something that I find really difficult to to acknowledge, I've got a feeling, and I guess this is like when I was growing up at home, my mom would never let me out, like never, only to school, only to gymnastics, and to meet some old family friends, like family friends in their 60s, 70s, 80s. She's like, yeah, you can go and hang out with them, but not with your school friends. And I felt so suffocated, I felt so stuck, I was so frustrated, and in my mind I was like, I want to run away, but I can't, or I want to talk to my mom, but I can't, and I just want to break free, and I just felt like I couldn't. And it wasn't until I was 18 that I was able to move out of home, and I was able to get the freedom that I had longed to experience. But I still think I have that belief of I am stuck. But I need to remember that at the end of the day, I'm the one who needs to give myself permission to leave the situation. At any time I can leave a situation, a place, a job, and obviously I need to figure out in perspective how I can do that. You know, I'm like, of course people are thinking, well, you can't just leave, you need money. And yeah, that's so true, you need money. Money is a great tool because it helps us to move around and to get the things that we want. So yeah, I need money if I want to do something, or if I want to leave a job, or leave a place, or leave a location, or change something. And I think it's the way that we see money, the way that we see getting money, the way that we see using money, and the way that we see money coming to us, that is what keeps us stuck. And that's what's kept me stuck. I had a perfectly good option to fly to New Zealand. That was probably available to me the moment my friend said, I would like you to come to New Zealand with me, like 4 or 5 months ago. But in those 4 or 5 months, I've been stressing myself out and ignoring the fact that I have options. And I need to recognize that, like, if I'm not ready to make money through creative outlets, that's okay. You know, I'm still working towards it. Ideas are coming. I feel really good. I feel in a state of flow. But if it's not time, it's not time. And that doesn't mean I should stop working towards it. And it doesn't mean it's not going to work out. But it just means that I don't need to put so much pressure on myself. Fucking enjoy it, Dana. And that's what I just realized, like, why am I not enjoying the thing that I've always wanted to do and experience? Aren't you doing it because you want to enjoy it? So why are you not enjoying it? Why are you making it something that feels stressful? You know? And yeah, so I had all these little epiphanies that led to this, and that led to that, and that led to this, and led to that, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna accept my friend's offer. I'm just gonna ask her, you know, is that offer still available? Would you still like to buy my flight as a birthday present? And she was like, absolutely, like without a doubt. And I was like, wow. I've been stressing out for like 3-4 months, and all it took was, what, seconds, 2 minutes of a conversation and a bank transfer for this problem that I created to be over. And you know, it's all about how we allow these things to come into our existence. And I think I had so much resistance around it because I was like, no, I want to do this by myself. I don't want to feel like I can't do this by myself. I don't want to feel shame or embarrassment or guilt. And it's none of that. What I realized recently, and my mind is downloading information, but what I realized recently is when I was in Pi, I would do a mushroom trip a week because I was like, okay, I've got to work on this thing, this block, and I could do it through journaling, but journaling takes me like hours, and on mushrooms it's just so much easier, and your mind just like completely opens like a flower, you know, blooms. And I for one of them I focused, for two of them I focused on the topic of money. And what I understood was that you can't get money if you're not open to receiving money. And yeah, and that's what I understood. It was like I was kind of like focused on money, and that also linked to relationships, and that also linked to physical healing. You can't get money if you are not open to receiving money. And you needing to be open to receiving money is dependent on the rules that you have around receiving money. So we have a lot of rules, beliefs, thoughts around money. For example, I can only earn this much money if I work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. I can only get this much money if I work 10 hours a week. So I can only get money if I do this, if I do that. So these are the rules and regulations that we have around receiving money. So if you believe those rules and regulations around receiving money, that's how you will receive money. Full stop. So my rule around receiving this money was like, no, I want to do this by myself, and I only want to do this, first of all, I only want to do this through writing, which I was completely limiting myself, because I was like, well, yeah, there's tons of things you can do creatively that can allow money to come to you. And I was like, fuck, I've just been limiting myself. And then the other one was like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this by myself, it has to be by myself, I can do this, and in this amount of time. And I was like, well, one, you are fixated on it, like money coming through you doing this by yourself, and two, you are restricting yourself on money coming in at this little window of time. And it's like, well, these rules are blocking you from that flow of money. When if I didn't have those rules, I could have been like, yeah, thank you, best friend, I will accept your offer to buy my flight to New Zealand, and then I will be with you on my birthday, and I won't need to stress about forcing myself to make money through creatively. I can just enjoy the process, and when you enjoy the process, things happen a lot faster. But because I've been stressing myself out, I've been shutting down and being all negative and fearful and in doubt, and I'm pretty sure that slowed down my process so much. And yeah, it's mad. In 2 seconds, not 2 seconds, but 2 minutes, conversation, blah 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 blah, how much you need, let me know, okay, here you are, it's sent. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And I've been stressing myself out for 3 to 4 months. Can you fucking believe it? And I think that my biggest lesson, because I think for me, and it's my fault, I think for me, I thought that being in a tight situation where I wanted to make a certain amount of money, doing a certain thing in a certain amount of time, was going to positively push me, like proactively and positively push me in the right direction. That's not it. It's not it. You know, it wasn't working out, and I think I was being, yeah, very harmful. And I do this all the time. I put myself in situations that aren't healthy because I'm trying to stimulate growth. And it's like, no, Dani, you can't do that. You have to love yourself into change. You can't hate yourself into change. You can't force yourself into change. You have to love yourself into change. You have to experience joy and flow and happiness and ease and peace into change. And this is my biggest lesson, because so many times I've pushed myself to the point where I was constantly projecting hate onto myself to change something. For example, I wanted to lose weight, hating myself, which led to anorexia. Of course it was going to lead to anorexia, because I was projecting hate onto my body. Of course it was going to result in an unhealthy situation. Yeah, so that is something that I need to remember for next time. And you know that I'm here to enjoy life. I'm here to love life. I don't need to be uncomfortable or in pain or in a state of fear. And yeah, why the fuck am I projecting that onto myself? Why do I believe that I have to feel like that to be successful or to create change or to get to where I want to be or to be happy? That doesn't make sense. Like, why do I think I need to be in a state of distress to get myself to feeling happy and relaxed and at ease and successful in what I'm doing or what I want to do? And it's so funny. It is so funny, and I'm laughing at myself at all the trouble that I've caused myself, and reminding myself again that it's okay to get help. It's okay that people want to help you. It's okay that people want to offer you things, and it's okay if you want to say no, and it's okay if you want to say yes. Simple as. There's nothing wrong with it, and I really do feel like I think a lot of the time there are things out there for us. There are helping hands and there is support. And I also feel like, I just think, like, what am I missing? Like, what am I missing? I'm sure that, I've been asking, God help me, God help me, God help me, God help me, because I just don't know what to do, how to get through this, what I need to shift in perspective. Help me, help me, help me. And I'm pretty sure the whole time my friend was there to help me. Probably, like, it was like, well, here's your help, but it's up to you if you want to take it or not. And I think I've got to be more open to that, that there's help all around. And it's up to me if I want to take it or not. I just wanted to talk about that. And I think for me, I also wonder, like, what else am I making difficult? I'm pretty sure if I'm making this one thing difficult, there's a lot of other things in my life that I'm making very difficult for myself. Yeah, unnecessarily difficult. And like, I remember when I was in Pi and I was like so adamant that I wanted to write. My coach was saying, like, my life coach was saying, why don't you stop making videos? Try something different, try something new, because your desire is to express yourself in whatever forms and ways that could be. I was like, no. And I did like one, she said, just practice, just take a video, put it on your phone, just practice. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't really work. I wasn't really trying. And then I don't know what gave me the inspiration, but when I came to, before I left Pi, I did a video on the Golden Triangle and my experience there. And the Golden Triangle is it's a social economic zone in Laos. It's a pretty dangerous place to be. And I don't know what it is. I think I came across an article or a video because it's something that's being talked about more and more and more. It's known for human trafficking. It's the highest producing place of opium. Human trafficking, opium, online scams, money laundering. It's like it's juicy in all sorts of negative ways. And so I was compelled to make a video on that, on my experience. And God, it happened last November, and it was pretty, like, I was definitely shaken, because at the time I didn't think there's a video on it, I'll post soon, but at the time I didn't think I was gonna be able to leave this place. And if they got a hold of my passport, I wouldn't be able to leave this area, and I'd probably be taken to do some human to do some online scams and stuff like that. It's a long story. Anyway, yeah, so I did that video and I felt really good about it. I felt super confident about it. And then I came to Bangkok and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I enjoy writing, but it takes me a long time to write something. And by the time I finish that, there are like 20 other things I want to write about. And I think my mind moves very quickly. And I'm like, well, my fingers can't move that fast. So let's just do a video. Let's just talk about what's going on. It's completely okay, you know? And that's when I started making these videos and I was like, wow, this was easy. This makes sense. It was, you know, my answer was right in front of me the whole time. And I'm like, wow, I've made the last however months, probably years, difficult for myself when it didn't have to be. And I think that's the lesson. Things aren't as difficult as we think they are, and we just need to be, I always say this, but open to all the possibilities and opportunities around us that are helping us, pointing us in the right direction, giving us the answers that we have been looking for. It's really like that easy. It's crazy. I feel like I want to cry in like joy and like overwhelmment, and then I'm also in like a state of shock. Just like that. Heading to New Zealand and I'm making these videos and I'm creating in ways I've always dreamed of, and it feels good and it feels easy and it makes sense. And part of me is like, I can't believe this. I can't believe all of this. Everything's coming together. Everything's happening. It's so surreal. So surreal. It's crazy. Anyway, that was the video of today.